back, everyone, for Phoenix Wright, Trials and Tribulations, and we are continuing day 1 of the trial in the case against Sister Iris. Last time we heard from Sister Bikini, and there's a whole lot of ruckus going about a snowmobile, in particular why there were only one set of tracks as opposed to 2. But if you guys didn't watch the last episode, you'll know more about what I'm talking about there, But now, today, in this episode, we are going to be hearing from Larry. This should be rather intriguing. I'm trying to think of the word to use in order to describe Larry right now. But before we continue on, hope you guys have an awesome day today. Hope you guys doing well. So without further ado, let's continue. February 9th, 11:15 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 1. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm not really sure what to say. Iris, we only have 20 minutes. There are 2 things which I need to ask you before we reconvene. Alright, I'll help you any way I can. First, about that night. You really didn't go to the Inner Temple, correct? The last witness claims to have met and talked with you in the training hall. Either you or Sister Bikini is lying. Mr. Edgeworth, it is just as I said yesterday. Until the incident occurred, I was in my own room in Hazakura Temple. Very well. The second thing, then. That night, the temple snowmobile was used in between the time Sister Bikini returned to the main hall and when she bore witness to the murder. Sometime between 10:30 and 11 p.m. that night. Were you the one who used the snowmobile? There was only one key for the snowmobile. The only person who could have used it was me. So it was you. But why? What made you go out to Dusky Bridge? I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. Iris, I can't tell you about that yet. Yet? Not until her safety is confirmed. Her? The safety of the Acolyte. The Acolyte, huh? She must be talking about Maya. Iris, look me in the eye and tell me the truth. Did you kill Elise Donham? No matter who or what may come, I could never take a life. As I thought, no psycho locks. Very well. It is my job to get to the truth. You'll discover this for yourself soon enough. February 9th, 11:36 a.m. District Court, Courtroom Number 7. Court will now reconvene. Miss Von Karma, where is the witness? During the break, a man was detained for suspicious behavior in the gallery. Suspicious behavior? He was sketching something, very intensely. Dare I ask what the witness was sketching when he was detained? He drew a terrifying woman armed with a demonic face and a vicious whip. I can only presume that his intention was to capture... Anyway, it's time to drag this pathetic excuse for an artist before the court. Louise Donham, I hope you're ready. Get in here! It would seem that whip is going to see plenty more use today. Ouch! Your sketch is in contempt of this court. Hey, I was just artistically rendering. You tried to run away from the bailiff who was trying to hand you your subpoena, correct? But look, I'm nothing but a fledgling artist training out in the woods. I'm only down here in the city because I ran out of green paint. Well, to use the technical term for the color, Viridian. Larry, this isn't an art store now, is it? I know, I graduated junior high, okay? Look, art is all about working in the fields, isn't it? Working in the fields? I presume he wanted to say field work, I hope. But that's it. Thanks, buddy. It's kinda sad I was able to understand his mangled train wreck of a sentence. I just happened to stop in here and found a wonderful new model. So see, I've got nothing to do with this trial, at all. I expect all your face to be red when you realize it's a mistake, bright red. Or, to use a technical term, crimson lake. Ouch! Ouch! Stop your pathetic babbling and testify like a man. Refrain from whipping me, Miss Von Karma. Cross-whipping is as bad as cross-checking. Witness, that was all your fault. Testify, now. This is too much for me. Witness testimony. What I saw. I was at that lodge out in the mountains looking up at the stars that night. I walked to the bridge a number of times, but I didn't see the snowmobile. I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night either. The girl I was waiting for didn't show up. My teacher died on me. I'm all alone now. Aren't I, Edgy? Witness, please refrain from talking directly to the lawyers during your testimony. I'm just a nobody, nothing but a small worthless man, aren't I? And why wasn't I asked for my name and occupation or anything else? Mr. Edgeworth, this man seems to have quite a severe inferiority complex. He's recently been the cause of numerous incidents. I think he's finally realized for himself just how much of a nuisance he has been to other people. Yeah, that's right, I'm behind everything, every case. Watch out, okay? Just touching me will make you eternally unhappy. Well then, let us proceed with the cross-examination with no touching, thank you. Okay, Larry. We can delve into other details at a later time. Cross-examination, what I saw. He was at the lodge out in the mountains, he walked the bridge a number of times, he didn't see a snowmobile, he didn't see... Now we know that is a lie, because there was a certain someone that he actually met. And it happens to be the guy that's not in court right now. Objection! Larry Butts, I can understand why you might want to throw your old life away. You're pretty pathetic, and you cause all sorts of trouble. I'm sorry, but having realized just how much of a nuisance you have been, that could be considered a step in the right direction. Edgy, are you trying to console me? Certainly doesn't sound that way to me. However, I cannot forgive you for simply turning away from the incidents you create. Wow, you're totally pinning this on me. Now then, let us talk about the night of the murder. Sister Bikini, after seeing the murder take place, asked Phoenix Wright to report it. Thus, he headed for the public phone by the bridge. There, he happened across a certain nefarious individual. You, Larry Butts. That's right, me in the flesh. Listen carefully, witness. It doesn't matter if you change your name. So long as you remain pretty pathetic, you will continue to cause these incidents. That reality will not change. But what do you want me to do then? Larry, what you need to change is your inner self. But for now, what you saw that night, testifying truthfully about this one issue, is all I need from you. Edgy, I think I've finally woken up. Well, I guess I could still be sleeping. But anyway, I'll do it. I'll testify. Well, I'm not sure this will go especially well. I'll ask again then, witness. What did you see on the night of the murder? Witness testimony. What I saw, part 2. I went to the shack at around 9, so it would have been around 10:30 p.m. I was lying under my bedding when a white flash almost blinded me. I looked out the window and Dusky Bridge was on fire. There was still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out. That's when I ran into Nick. You certainly saw quite a lot, didn't you? So, what happened to the bridge after it caught on fire? It was like me after a 3-day stint chasing a girl. It totally burnt out, like almost totally gone. I mean, trying to cross the burning remains was what caused Nick to fall. What did you say? Oh, don't worry. It's nothing life-threatening. He just caught a cold. I never know with that man if he should be called lucky or unlucky. No, Mr. Edgeworth, please commence your cross-examination. Don't mind if I do. Cross-examination. What I saw, part 2. He went to the shack at around 9. He was lying under his bedding when he saw a white flash. He looked out the window and Dusky Bridge was on fire. There was still some thunder. Hold it! You said right away? But exactly how long after the strike was that? The lightning fell, and then the bridge caught on fire, maybe around 5 minutes? I mean, I suddenly thought, gotta go check this out. How far is the small shack you were in from the bridge? Hold on, well, it had pretty much stopped snowing. I guess about a 5-minute walk? And how did Dusky Bridge look when you got there? Like I had recovered a piece of my childhood. I mean, not even the bonfire kids make during school camping trips can compare. Well, should I press him for a little more info? Well, I'm gonna ask him this. Why didn't you call anyone? Larry, let me ask you one thing. What is it, Edgy? What's with the serious face? Why didn't you call anyone? Huh? What do you mean? Normally, when faced with a towering inferno, one would try to tell someone. There's a public phone right by Dusky Bridge, correct? Well, of course I thought of doing that. So then, let's hear why you didn't. Huh? Yeah, okay. A reason. My reason. It isn't that I didn't try to tell anyone, I just didn't have time to, okay? I arrived at the bridge and Nick showed up less than a minute later.
Objection!
Your very existence being a contradiction. I'm not sure if you can grasp this or not. What the hey, Edgy? You make me sound like some sort of alien. But your testimony is conclusively contradictory. The problem here is time. I've never been the best timekeeper, you know. 3 minutes after Billy leaves on foot, you follow him on your bicycle. How long does it take you to catch up with him? Terrible at those. This is much more simple. You saw the lightning strike Dusky Bridge, and immediately went to see what had happened. Is this correct? Yeah, well, I wasted about 5 minutes first, but more or less. I have the weather data from the night of the murder here. According to this, the lightning fell at 10:45 p.m. You say it takes less than 5 minutes from the shack to Dusky Bridge, meaning you probably got there around 11 p.m. That all sounds about right, I guess. And then Nick showed up and did his falling act. That is impossible. What do you mean? 11 p.m. is when the murder occurred in Hazakura Temple. Thus, Wright was still there in the courtyard. There is no way that Larry could have encountered him at Dusky Bridge at that time. Ah, excuse me. I have an objection. You do? Edgy, how many times do I have to say this? I'm not Larry, I'm Lori... Yeah! It has not been proven that the murder occurred at 11 p.m. The sister only said around 11 p.m. In which case, it could have been earlier than that. Watch your footing there, Miss Francisca von Karma. The slope ahead is slippery. For there is still no way that Wright could have been at Dusky Bridge at 11 p.m. And why not? It is clearly written here in the weather data report. It took around 30 minutes for the bridge to burn out. Therefore, the bridge must have been burning until at least 11:15 p.m. Which means, what exactly? Wright did not see the bridge while it was being consumed by the flames that night. In fact, he did not arrive on the scene until after the flames had died down. Larry, you arrived at the bridge at 11 p.m., but Wright did not make it there until at least 11:15. I suggest you to stop hiding things and just tell us the whole truth. Now then, what happened during these missing 15 minutes? I feel like I just got brutally woken up by toilet splash black. I guess I was still sleeping after all. Pinch me. Order, order, order! So there was a missing 15 minutes prior to meeting Phoenix Wright? I hardly see that as much of a problem. Yeah, not much of a problem at all. Really? The bridge is burning before your eyes and there is a phone right next to it. Why then did you not report the accident? Yes, witness, why didn't you? Were you there simply to watch the bridge burn? And therein lies the problem. For even after the bridge had burnt out, he was still there. Staring into space, this witness didn't even attempt to fulfill his civic duty. Well, that's what it sounds like. Ah, but this is Larry we were talking about. Even he isn't capable of being so stupid. Which means there has to be a reason for this inaction. Edgy. I think it's about time I got serious with you, dude. Just as I thought, you've been playing with us all this time. Listen, I'm going to tell you everything. Are you sure you want to hear it all? Yes. I may really say it this time. Then say it! Very well. I have a terribly bad feeling about this. However, let's have the witness finally give us the whole truth. Now, for this 15-minute gap, what were you doing, witness? With this testimony, the missing 15 minutes. I'm a donum. I'm an artist. What do you think I was doing? Sketching in front of the bridge. I was whipped up into a frenzy of art. The shot I was filling, I transferred it all directly onto the page. before I realized that the flames had gone out and then he came running up. I suppose artists can be strange folk. That's right. I'm willing to sacrifice everything in order to draw the perfect sketch. Including the truth from the sound of it. Mr. Edgeworth, has this removed the last of your doubts? Not at all, Your Honor. One very large doubt still remains. And what would that be? This is a surprisingly believable story, especially considering the source. So why did he think he needed to hide it from us until now? I intend to drag the reason out of him. Ha. You'll regret this, Edgy. Cross-examination. The missing 15 minutes. He's a donum. Sketching. The burning bridge? The burning bridge and everything that came with it? What? What came with it? You want to hear this from my lips, do you, Edgy? You'll regret this. That sketch of mine is... Enough! Just take that ridiculous sketch of yours out already, witness. What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. That does indeed appear to be the fastest solution. I'll leave it to you, Mr. Edgeworth. What should I do? I've got a terrible feeling that the instant the sketch is revealed, the entire world may be changed by what is depicted there. Let's look at the sketch. Larry, I wonder if you could show us your sketch, please? Well, even I couldn't have imagined it turned out like this. Imagine what? That Maurice Donham's debut would take place here, today, like this. Ouch! Show it, now! Okay, but steel yourselves. This is the world of Maurice Donham. What the hell is that? Well... So this is Dusky Bridge, correct? Quite a large bridge, isn't it? You response, Miss Von Karma? Yes, well... It's a better drawing than I expected. Isn't it? Isn't it? I struggled to reproduce those flames, I really did. Yes, I'm sure you did. This is gonna get ugly. No one has the courage to bring it up, it seems. This mysterious flying object. Larry. What? The burning bridge is fine. But, what is that unfortunate looking figure? You spotted that? I thought you might. However much I might want to ignore it, I can't. It's Iris, of course. Iris. I wish she'd take better care of herself. We have to plan for her future, you know. What would have happened to her if she had injured herself flying like that? Larry, please, answer this next question honestly. Okay. Are you really claiming to have seen this? Are you claiming to have seen the silhouette of the defendant? Flying over a bridge that was engulfed in flames? Yep, that's what I saw. That's why I drew it. I'm an artist. A real artist. Hi, the girl, she's really high up in this picture. What was that for? This is all a bad dream. I was hitting you on the cheek to test that theory. Please whip your own cheek from now on if you wish to test your wild theories. But anyway, no court of law will ever acknowledge that people can fly. Actually, there is some precedent for this. She was flying pretty high, my sweet Iris. She was about 30 feet above the bridge at least. It was really something to see. This has to be some kind of a mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, please bring the witness back down to Earth. But what? Me? This witness is your friend, is he not? Accessory to foolishness, Miles Edgeworth. Let us get back to the cross-examination, by force if necessary. Mr. Edgeworth, I expect you to expose the obvious contradiction here. Yes, Your Honor. Looks like I've got another reason to remember this moron. Well, what do you think of my debut piece? Get that thing away from me! Larry's sketch added a court record, horrible sketch of what he saw the night of the crime. Now, hurry up and cross-examine him. Okay. Oh! I didn't... I saw Iris flying, her white hood fluttering. I highly doubt that, Larry, because of this. Larry, what did you really see that night? Not that I particularly care. In your position, that's just being irresponsible. I do exactly what I saw. I'll give you a whole $1 that is the truth. If that is truly the case, then there is one thing that we can say for certain. What might that be? That the person who flew over the bridge could not have been the defendant, Iris. What? What do you mean? I don't understand. What? A foolhardy folly of a foolish statement by an equally foolishly foolhardy fool. How exactly can you make this claim? Tell us, Larry. According to this picture, the individual whom you saw was wearing a hood, correct? Of course she was. That rundown shack is quite away from the bridge. The hood is what told me that this floating angel was my Iris. The hood is my darling Iris, and Iris is my darling hood. Wow! It seems there are bigger fools in this world than the one at the defense's bench. Larry, there's something you need to be made aware of. On the night of the murder, Iris wasn't wearing a hood. She had been given it to Wright as a gift. Are you going to change your story now? Perhaps suggest it was Wright who took flight? What are you talking about? I think you understand what I mean just fine. Why? Why did Nick have Iris's hood? What? Edgy, what's going on with Iris and Nick? Why, you Nick! You dog! I do believe that this unbelievably mysterious sketch is destined to disappear, discredited and discarded straight into the garbage. Ha! What is it now, witness? It feels like I've been waiting 25 years for this very day to come. Edgy, today is the day I get to completely stupefy you. What? What is the meaning of the outburst, witness? I hate to have to do this, but I have some definitive evidence. Definitive? Evidence? Iris did indeed come flying over the burning bridge, and I, Louis Stoneham, shall prove it. I didn't expect to ask this again, but we shall be needing your testimony once again. Tell us anything you know concerning the defendant as depicted in the sketch, and show us your evidence that this nightmare was actually a reality. Okay, I hope you're ready, Edgy, because I'm gonna feed you a whooping serving of pain. You've been serving as a whooping serving of pain this whole time, trust me. Witness testimony. Proof that Iris flew. When I reached Dusky Bridge, she was already gone. I was so worried, so I frantically searched all over for her. That led to me finding a beautiful crystal sphere, half buried in the snow. I'm sure that Iris was simply wearing a spare hood. After all, no one else could have launched a crystal sphere that night. A crystal sphere? This one. Pretty, isn't it? But finders keepers. That sphere. Where did you find it? Let me see. Around here, somewhere? Looks about right. And it was half buried in the snow? It had pretty much stopped snowing by then. But there was still some falling as I walked into the bridge. The court accepts this crystal sphere. That's mine, okay? I want it back afterwards. There's something on it. Oh my, it's blood! What? Blood? Crystal sphere added to the court record. Found half covered in snow near Dusky Bridge the night of the crime. Has blood on it. You ready, Edgy? By tomorrow morning, you'll be calling me Master Larry. Yeah, I like the sound of that. No one's gonna push me around anymore. Didn't you want to be called Louis Stoneham only a few minutes ago? Okay, cross-examination. Proof that Iris flew. Let's go ahead and save this first. No one else could have lost? What about this? Larry, that night, there was someone who lost a crystal sphere. There was? Who? Who was this stupid idiot? Miss Elise Donham, the mentor to a stupid idiot. The victim? I have a photo of her here. And on the end of her staff, you can see a familiar-looking crystal sphere. Hey! That's my photograph! Give it back! A crystal sphere like that is quite easy to find. I have one just like it on my brooch. They look nothing alike. In any case, please take a look at this. This is the victim's staff found at the scene of the crime. Ah, the crystal sphere. It's gone. What? 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 What does this mean? If anyone jumped or flew across the bridge that night, it certainly was not Iris. After all, she was not wearing a hood. More importantly, the crystal sphere found at the landing site was not hers either. So that means the one who flew and dropped the sphere was the victim, Miss Elise Donham? A fool alongside another fool on a fool's errand to reach a foolish conclusion. First of all, this sketch, which I prefer to call a scribble, is ridiculous. People cannot fly, thus it is rejected. You cannot do that, I saw it with my... And this certain crystal sphere, this is nothing more than a red herring. You honestly believe that? Give it some thought and I'm sure you'll realize it as well, Miles Edgeworth. Elise Donham was in her room on the night of the murder. There was no reason for her to go to Dusky Bridge. Therefore, this sphere cannot be related to the case. That is all. Miss Franziska von Karma. The only people who will accept that explanation are scatterbrains and clowns. Why are you pointing at me? The victim's crystal sphere was found near the bridge of the night of the murder. Yet you expect us to believe this has nothing to do with the case? That crystal sphere, it was probably thrown away at the bridge after the murder. After the murder? There is blood on the crystal sphere, isn't there? This naturally suggests that it was thrown away after the murder took place. The killer placed it there to throw the investigation off the scent, which is the exact same reason that he drew that ridiculous sketch. What? You mean... I'm the killer? All joking aside, just when did this crystal sphere appear near the foot of the bridge? Unless this can be proven in some way, I refuse to believe this is related to the case. She makes a valid point. There is no evidence that Elise Donham left Hazakura Temple that night. However, if somehow this crystal sphere can be proven to have been dropped before the victim was killed, then this case is going to transform into something else entirely. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? Let's go ahead and save. I want your final opinion on the disposition of this crystal sphere. If it is not related to the case, then this witness who you called will have been nothing more than a monumental waste of time. Prepare yourself for some very appropriate punishment, Miles Edgeworth. Can I prove it? Can I prove that the crystal sphere was dropped before the murder took place? Yeah, we can. Can I prove it? That isn't the issue. To simply prove it, that is the only option. That's what he'd do. That's the way Phoenix Wright would do this. Your Honor, allow me to prove something to you. I will prove that this crystal sphere is a vital link to solving this case. You will do that? That look in your eyes, you remind me of Phoenix Wright when he is cornered. That should come as no surprise. Because right now, I am Phoenix Wright, and I am indeed cornered. I order you to present your evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Evidence that proves that the crystal sphere was indeed dropped before the murder. Well... Take that! This crystal sphere, it was half buried in the snow, correct? That's right. If it hadn't stopped snowing, then it would have been game over. The snow would have totally covered it. That's all I needed to hear from you, Larry. Your testimony makes one thing quite clear. What? When the crystal sphere was dropped, it was snowing, even if it was ever so slightly. Snowing? On the other hand, let us look at the scene of the murder. As proven earlier today, there is no snow on the victim's body. Ah! Therefore, the crystal sphere must have been dropped before the murder. What? What? Order, order, order! On the night of the murder, the victim did indeed go to Dusky Bridge, and there, something occurred that caused Staff's crystal sphere to come loose. What? What could that have been? This sphere. There is some blood on it, isn't there? Allow me to raise a certain possibility at this junction. The real crime scene was near the foot of Dusky Bridge. The murder didn't take place in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. Only a fool would suggest such a foolish piece of absolute foolishness. Just who is the fool? And which part is so foolish, Miss Von Karma? Have you been paying any attention this whole time, Miles Edgeworth? The sister saw everything. She saw the victim being killed by the defendant in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. That's not exactly true now, is it? To put it more precisely, what she saw was the murder weapon being removed from the victim's body. But that's the same thing! No, it isn't. You said it yourself. Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. If that statement is the truth, then Dusky Bridge could very easily be the scene of the murder. The murder weapon was not removed, thus there was no bleeding. You are forgetting one vital thing, Malice Edgeworth. Elise Stonham's body was found in Hazakura Temple. On foot, it takes 15 minutes to travel from Dusky Bridge to Hazakura Temple. You mean to suggest someone carried the body all that way? I've made it this far. The only place to take it is to the end. I just need to prove that my version of events is also perfectly plausible. Now, if the defense is ready, the court would like to have an explanation. Please show us the method by which the victim's body was carried to Hazakura Temple. Hey there, Zaxxon. On that snowy night, there is one way that a body could have been moved. The snowmobile. Ah! As we know, the snowmobile was used that night. It was explained as having been used to dispose of the murder weapon, but it could also have been used to carry a body. Order! 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 This is completely unacceptable, Miles Edgeworth. You've dug yourself into your own grave. What do you mean? The only one who could have used the snowmobile was the defendant. She's the one who moved the body. Doesn't that put the final nail in your coffin? Heh. You're too late, Franziska Von Karma. And in fact, the defense has proven something else entirely. We have shown that this case requires further investigation. What? Where was the victim, Elise Stoneham, really killed? If her body was moved, whatever for? And finally... just what does this image mean? Do you even need to think about that? Such a creature could never see the truth, let alone describe it. This witness certainly sits on one of the lowest possible branches of humanity. However, he would never utter a lie that could hurt a girl with whom he is enamored. He drew this, so it is something that actually happened. The defense stands firm on this point. Edgy? Thank you. That settles it then. I cannot give a verdict under these circumstances. Right. I seem to have fulfilled my part in this. It is just as I thought. Franziska Von Karma, you make a wonderful partner. Excuse me? There is one reason and one alone for me being here. To expose the darkness lurking in this case and then pass it on to Wright. Really? That's what this was all about? You could have just told me that from the very beginning. Then I would have had Franzi whipping me. Ouch! Miles Edgeworth, I don't care about what you were here to do. This was my chance to finally grind you under my heel. A shame that your chance seems to have slipped you by. What a shame. Franzi, this is all your fault. Such a terrible witness. You're an affront to all the legal system. And I didn't get to read the rest. I demand satisfaction. Dang. I cannot believe that the witness's testimony relates to an actual event. However, there has to be some sort of answer for the questions it raises. Have his words here today been the truth or lies? Next time we gather in this courtroom, those are the matters that shall be addressed. I am counting on thorough investigations by both the defense and prosecution. And with this, the rest is up to you, right? Court is now adjourned. And so is this. I actually thought this video was going to be longer than the last one, but I think the last one was a tad bit longer. But anyways, we are done with day 1 of the trial, but further investigation is needed. So the next time I see you guys, we will be beginning day 2 of the investigation. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. But thank you guys so much for watching this. Hope you guys are enjoying this series so far. I'll be seeing you guys again next time.